you, Dr. Batsaliwa. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this morning, where we are fortunate to host Miss Florence Nakajubi. She's going to be sharing on the topic, matching energy solutions to your business needs. This perhaps sounds unusual, especially when we are when we are sharing experiences as entrepreneurs, as business people. One of the areas that that normally gets less attention is energy solutions. We may pay attention to a lot of other issues in business. We talk about human resources, we talk about marketing, we talk about technology, but energy is an area that has really been discussed in forums like these. But it is very important that as you run your business, you are very, very conscious of your energy sources and the costs, and ensuring that you are making the best choice. Because as a business person, you are also very keen on keeping your costs down and being efficient and being effective. So this morning we have an expert who is going to be talking to us about how do we match our energy solutions to our business needs. Ms. Florence Nakajubi is pursuing a PhD in energy transition communication at Makerere University Business School. She holds an MBA, she's a CPA, and also holds a degree in Bachelor of Business Administration. And she's a lecturer in the Department of Management at Makerere University Business School. She's the CEO of Timberlake Eco Solutions and the co-founder of the Leapfrog Eco Innovations Foundation. So we have nobody better than Florence to tell us more about this energy, which we never really think about as much as we do in other areas of business. Miss Florence Nakajubi, you're welcome to make your presentation. You have 40 minutes, and then we shall have a question and answer session. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diana and the MUBS Entrepreneurship and Incubation Centre for this opportunity to share about the different energy solutions that are available for entrepreneurs, and how entrepreneurs can be in a position to match their energy needs to the available energy solutions. As already introduced, I'm Florence Nakajubi, and this interesting topic today, as Dr. Diana mentioned earlier, many entrepreneurs do not usually think a lot about energy, actually it is a bit even hard to forecast how much you're going to spend on energy in your business. Yet it is at the center of all your business operations. And for entrepreneurs, anything that eats on your small profit or anything that increases your expenses is something you need to think about a lot. And you need to be able to make the right decisions. So today we need to look at the sources, the different technologies and the different behaviors that can help you to achieve your business needs in an efficient and effective manner. Because most of the time we do not realize that these energy costs account for more than 40% or more of our business costs. Now, this worsens our cash flow strains because look at a scenario where you go to, maybe you have a salon, you reach at the salon, and as you're working on your client, power goes off. And maybe you did not have money this very morning to buy yaka. And you didn't know that power is going to go off because you do not know your consumption rates. You don't know how many people you have to put in a dryer before 1 unit of yaka or 1 unit of power goes off. So you find yourself in a dilemma. Maybe if you have people who are helping you in the business, employees, they are going to call you and say, yaka is off, we don't have any money in the safe. This is the reality of every entrepreneur. And then you'll start asking, we put 2 units yesterday, or we put 30 units. You're not even certain about how much you use, for how long, or for how many people. That is one challenge entrepreneurs are facing. Then there is an issue of competitive advantage. You are unable to compete with bigger businesses because for them, they are able to continue operations without being disrupted. Yet, for you, sometimes the power issues are disrupting your production or your business operations. You're uncertain about how much you're going to spend, which makes it hard even to budget your operations. And you keep on, or is you are at the verge of closing, or you are not sure of how you are performing. And then your operational costs at the end, because maybe you're always buying, you can buy power 3-4 times. Wherever you're buying power in the middle of the month, you're paying extra money on the, wherever you use mobile money to buy, they charge you 1,000, 2,000. And as an accountant, I'm very mindful of the extra costs spent, which you didn't budget for in your business, because at the end, those eat on your profits and make you unable to meet your profit targets or your business goals. So basically, I want us to first get familiar with this concept of energy. When you talk about energy, some people think right away about yaka, like I've mentioned. People think about electricity. To some of us, this is what we call energy. But anything that is needed for you to be able to produce or to transform the raw materials you put into your business into a final product is energy. It can be kinetic. When you talk about kinetic, that yourself, the power you put in yourself as the entrepreneur or as your employees, it is also energy. It can be thermal, electrical, chemical, nuclear. Those are all forms of energy. But sometimes when we ask you, what are your energy costs? Or which energy do you use? You tell us, no, I use electricity. But you forget about other forms of energy. Even the way you distribute, you need energy. The way you, when you're taking your goods from the store to the customer, those of us who don't have businesses where a customer has to find you in the office, you have to go and find a customer, or you have to take the goods to the market. That you also need energy. And when we talk about energy, we still go to a level of the energy resources, those raw materials that are used to generate energy. We said energy is your capacity to produce. So how do you generate this capacity in your business? Some people use the fossil fuels. Fossils are normally like coal like charcoal, oil, natural gas. That is all energy, fossil fuels. Some people use nuclear, some people use renewable sources, for example, grid electricity, solar electricity, hydro electricity. That is now, those are renewable sources. So our ability to choose the right energy resources or materials for our businesses is very critical for us as entrepreneurs. Then the energy services are those functions that these energy resources play in your business. Some of us, our businesses, we need cooling. Maybe you're dealing in soft drinks, or you're dealing in agricultural products, which you need to keep for some time, or you're dealing in perishable products. Lighting, heating, transportation, industrial processes. These are all forms of energy. When you talk about transportation, still people will wonder, so do we have even to think about transportation? Yes. Today we have electric bikes. We have electric cars. You might think about it and see, if I get an electric bike, how much will I spend in deliveries? Maybe I can make free deliveries within, because the cost of fuel will be out. And you compare it with your initial investment into the electric bikes. For those of us who do deliveries, and remember post-COVID, people or customers have shifted to ordering online, and we love deliveries. Personally, I've not been back down to downtown Kampala, but still I shop and buy most of my things from downtown. How? I just go online, maybe on social media, and I look for I just type in the product I want, and I see a contact of who's selling it. I compare prices and I call. And the first question I make is, do you do deliveries? That means the energy costs you use in transportations are also very critical. So transportation is another key service today. Then we have a concept of energy management, which is very critical. What are those plans you have? How are you going to implement them, and how are you going to manage your energy use to ensure efficiency in terms of, one, the value or the quality of the product you're getting, and the turnaround times, that is the time you use to make the product ready and get to the market. I recently witnessed a baker, someone who has been baking cakes, and the person told me, I've been using electricity, but now it is it is not very reliable in my area, so I needed to get a better option. And I advised them, have you thought about these baking options where you use like briquettes and honeycombs? And the person was surprised that there is even a way you can bake using coal, like a big multi-purpose machine that can use that. So that one can also be good. You minimize environmental impacts as well. Remember, today as entrepreneurs, we need to be mindful that as we are achieving our business goals, we are also ensuring that there is a sustainable, that you're doing that in a sustainable manner, so that you're not affecting the environment. So tomorrow you'll be stuck in floods, or you'll be carried away by floods on your way to work, just because of the climate change issues. They are at our doorstep. And so we love dealing with businesses or business persons who are mindful of the environment or the sustainability of their business operations. Then energy efficiency is very critical. Now, this is where you have the power as an entrepreneur. Sometimes you cannot determine which source of energy you're going to use. You might use what is available. I would love to use electricity, or I would love to use solar, but right now all I have is electricity. Then try energy efficient behaviors as you're using electricity. Your ability to save or to use the least amount of this energy resource through your energy use behaviors. Basically, there are different energy sources. I will just mention a few, talking about the pros and cons of each, so that we can, as entrepreneurs, make informed decisions. I learned that there is a lot of information gap when it comes to energy among the general population and businesses or business persons as well. For example, when people talk about grid electricity, of course, grid electricity is where we have our electricity connected using the wires. That is what we call grid electricity, pole to pole, to the house, to the meter, to your socket. That is grid electricity. We use grid electricity so much with the increased access, though we still have challenges of reliability. That is the major challenge. grid electricity is not very reliable. And as a business person, it is very hard to rely on this grid electricity. Maybe I've given you an example of a salon. Or if you're baking, someone's wedding is around the corner, you're using electricity. What if the transformer blows and it takes 2 days to fix it and you do not have an alternative? That is the challenge with grid electricity. If you're having, those who are having broilers, let us say poultry, and you're using grid electricity in your, for warming or for brooding, what happens if power goes off for 2 days? You find someone who said, no, I'll go renewable. You have to think about the chances that it will go off. Maybe you need to have a blend. Another issue surrounding grid electricity is the uncertainty of the costs you're going to spend. So many times today you buy power, you pay 20,000, they give you 20. There is no explanation, and then you do not even know how it is going to be, how it is spent. As we go ahead, I'm going to provide some advice when it comes to grid electricity. So that is grid electricity. Then when it comes to solar, the advantages of grid electricity, of course, it is clean. And once it is reliable, it is not very expensive if it is used appropriately or by people who have knowledge on how to efficiently use electricity. Or if you know the time, for example, use it mostly for heavy duty work, you do it off peak hours, that can help you. Then when it comes to solar, we all know solar, where you get your energy through the light, the sun. And in Uganda, this is the best source of energy in my opinion, because you have a very high solar potential. Even on a cloudy day like this, we still have light. You can find that your solar is charging, is getting some power, or it is receiving some power because of light. That's why our solar potential is very high in Uganda. Major challenge with solar in Uganda are the mix and match purchase sellers and then buyers. Mix and match, we mean when you want to buy a solar system, it is advisable that you buy from someone, a company that is selling a full system. Do not buy from someone who gets a solar panel from Nakawa, then the battery is from Chikubo, then the lights are bought from Energy Centre. That is what we call mix and match. And usually, this solar we call mix and match never yields results because it is not a compatible system. You're just buying here and there. You're not sure whether this panel is the right one for the battery capacity you have bought, or whether the wiring you're using is the appropriate one, whether the lights you're using are the appropriate lights for the battery you're having. So the major challenge we have about solar is the information gap and the mix and match issues. Other issues surrounding regulations, and people don't actually, information gap, let me go back on that. People do not know where to buy solar because we say there are many vendors of solar panels, there are many vendors of solar equipment. I will advise that as an entrepreneur, look for a provider of solar systems once you choose to use solar. Biomass, that one is very familiar. We have improved to briquettes. What you see, that looks like something circular black with holes, that is a honeycomb briquette. For those who have brooders, chicken, those who are into cooking, this big honeycomb for those who are dealing into poultry and you need brooders, you have been using charcoal. This one, this size, is 2,000 on the market, and it can go for over 13 to 15 hours. when it is still there, on and hot. So it means for those hours, you're going to use 2,000. And if maybe you're putting like 5 of them, 10,000 will take you for that long, depending on how big. But when it comes to using charcoal, it becomes more expensive. And for those who are in cooking, you have a restaurant, honeycombs are other sources of energy which can help you. It will keep your food warm. You might not be able to use the other warmers. You might not be able to use flasks. One honeycomb will take you up to 13 to 15 hours, the big one. Then we have small ones for homes which run up to 5 hours, and it is usually on the market, the smallest is 500 shillings. But imagine 500 shillings, which can cook for 3 to 5 hours. Smokeless, so those are options you can have in biomass. And then there are those of 1,000, which can go up to 10 hours. So as entrepreneurs who are using heat as one of the sources of energy in your business, if you need heat, you need to look into alternatives other than only cooking maybe on electricity, or those who are cooking and warming for long. You can think about that. In the first, you have bioethanol. We have, diesel and generators. That one we are familiar with it, but because these are fossils, we have a challenge of increased emissions, and also you cannot easily budget and know that fuel this month I'll buy these liters at this much. Just a simple change or a simple something, whether local or global, the price of diesel and petrol changes. Any small change in the global or local environment or business. Now we have hybrid systems, which we usually recommend, where you can mix the renewables and the conventional. And we'll all agree by the end of this presentation that the hybrids are better. Then bioethanol, those who didn't know about ethanol, ethanol is another cheap source of heat. Heat those who are cooking, heat those who are using heat in your businesses. I've given you an example of a bioethanol stove there. It is a one stove seater with a cooker. I don't want to talk about providers because I'm not promoting different providers, but I want to bring to your knowledge as an entrepreneur the different options you have. You can use ethanol. Ethanol is very cheap. Those who fear it, ethanol is not like petrol. Even if it pours on your table, it is not going to blow like petrol. It is not highly combustive. You can just clean it. Only thing you have to ensure is you keep it safe, because currently it is distributed in jerry cans like this. So it might be mistaken for water, juice, or liquid soap. Other than that, ethanol is a very cheap source currently of heat. Then the last photo you're seeing is a cooker, that is a solar cooker. If you can afford solar cooking, it is very good, because except the initial costs, the maintenance is very low. You don't need a lot of maintenance. They rarely get issues. And the good thing is currently, most solar cooker providers do the maintenance for themselves. Now, from the sources, we look at the technologies. Now, the sources is electricity, but then there are technologies which can be used even under electricity or under solar. You can have technologies that help you to become more efficient, or even under the different solutions. When we have a solar system, we have solar microgrids or home systems. We say they are ideal for rural businesses or in areas where power is very volatile. And where you see, that is my photo standing near a big green saucepan. That is a solar cooker. That one, it is this one has a capacity of serving up to 1,000 people. So now if you have a business like a school or a restaurant that serves many people, you can think about these solar cookers. In front of it, just down as you're reaching my shoe or where the shoe is, in front near the open, where there is an opening, is a fan. So you just put very little, whether it is wood, whether it is briquettes, or whether it is charcoal. And then you close and you switch on the solar panel, the solar fan. Once the fan goes on, it will be the one to blow. And it maintains heat, it comes with its own saucepan. Now, this particular solution, the issue will be on the initial cost, but this particular technology for schools, for those for schools, for people having businesses where you have to prepare a lot of meals or meals for so many people, you need to think about such solutions. Because where this business where I found this solution, they say they save up to 80% of what they used to spend on firewood for the school. The school went ahead to buy these solutions and shifted to using briquettes. So now it means they can put briquettes of 5,000, switch on the solar panel, and the porridge for all their students is ready. If they are going to make beans, they told me they can put briquettes of 10,000, and the briquettes will make the beans for all their learners. Now, this one is a very good solution. It means before you used to buy trucks and trucks of firewood in your school, but now you have saved, you're going to buy very, very few trucks. So that is one technology businesses can exploit. Energy efficient appliances like LED lighting. If you're still using electricity, you should explore solutions like energy saving bulbs. These help you to reduce on how much you spend on lighting. Improve the cook stoves. For those who are cooking, maybe in the markets, you need to think about improved cook stoves. These ones save up to 80%, like I've told you. And there are those for small capacity. This one is the big capacity. We are going to see some of those for small capacity, even up to 5 people, 10 people, even 2 people. You just have to choose the right solution. Then we need to think about solutions for backup and storage. It is usually the most disappointing thing for your client to fail to get a service saying that, we are sorry, we don't have power for 2 days. We are sorry, we cannot work on you. We are sorry, in the middle of a service, you need to have backups. Maybe generators, maybe inverters, those that can store power and then you can use it after to ensure, or maybe you need to have a hybrid of solutions so that in case maybe you have a salon, power is off and you need to wash someone's head, you just switch to your ethanol stove, and ethanol is very cheap. For you can boil a saucepan of water of like 5 liters and you use ethanol of like 3 shillings, not even 500 shillings or 50 shillings, because it is currently very cheap and it is they are still getting carbon credits. So you have to think about that. I will explain more about the credits. Then you have bioenergy technologies, biodigesters, briquettes. I've already mentioned that. Those who can do biogas, you can think about biogas if you can get a lot of waste well managed, so that you can reduce on how much you spend on energy. Because for it, once you have the investment, made the initial investment, install the equipment, then you don't have to be paying daily. For those who are dealing in soft drinks, there is a thought of a water filter. Now, these water filters, are very good because you don't have to boil water. And boiling water, for those who are dealing in soft drinks, or you have a restaurant, you need to have a water filter. Because when you boil water, you do not remove the chemicals, the dangerous chemicals in water. You only and only eliminate the biohazards, the bacteria that can die with the boiling. But those chemicals, like the chlorine, which they put in your national water, will not go away by boiling. So usually you need to have a water filter for all water that you're going to put in your food or in your client's food or anything that you're going to ingest. It needs to go through a filtration system because for it eliminates the chemicals. These chemicals, sometimes we use tanks. Tanks get water from our iron sheets or from our roofs, which we keep drinking. You buy the iron sheet when it is blue. After 5 years, the iron sheet is brown. You have been eating the iron sheet on a daily basis. So water filtration is very important. And once your clients realize that you're very sensitive about their health, they will also feel good. And instead of spending a lot of money in boiling water, if you need boiled water for your maybe making juice, maybe making soft drinks, and anything else that needs water, any business that needs drinking water. Those who are selling drinking water or I wanted to say bananas. I don't know bananas in English. Those things we boil small in our freezers. You know, we make a lot of profit on those. Those who are dealing in retail shops or those who are dealing in small, you can be in a salon, you have a deep freezer on the side. You can have very good. And once your clients learn that these filters are good, you see you'll have more clients. So you have saved on the cost of boiling water and then you're getting more clients. Now the question is, how do I choose from all the alternatives you have presented to me as a business? How do I which is the best alternative for me? Look at availability and reliability of the solution. Does it work in all seasons? I've told you why I second solar for Uganda is because we have a very high solar potential throughout the year. For all the regions in Uganda, you can have solar. If your solar panel is not working, it could be an issue of maintenance. We learn how to maintain them. You should take time, sometimes get someone to wash it. Imagine the dust in Uganda and everything. Sometimes the panel itself gets scrubbed. So it reduces on how much it absorbs that is saved on your battery. The cost and financing options. Now you need to think about the cost you're going to incur in line with this solution and then match it with your business. This cost can be the upfront cost that you have to incur to install the new energy technology or resource, the acquisition. Now here, when we talk about upfront costs, I will advise you. There are some solutions which are being funded that 60% is funded by the, like UECCC, Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Fund. Now you need to seek for information. There are those solutions which are already funded, or there are those which you can pay in installments, but still at the end, you're not going to be exploited. Then the long-term savings. Sometimes our mindset is on the upfront costs only, not realizing how much you are going to save. So sometimes it is good to invest once and then save for a longer time. Or the opportunity cost. What do you have to forego for you to install or to acquire this particular technology? And then the time saving. Time is very critical for an entrepreneur. How much time are you saving? That is also money. That is another resource. Is it increasing the time you're using, or is it reducing on the time you're spending doing or producing in your business? If it saves you time, then that one is a cost saving. But if it increases the time, then it is taking a lot of your time. Sustainability and environmental impact is very critical today. You need to ensure that our business activities do not negatively impact the environment. Recently, when we had the floods that were taking people's cars, I said, okay, when we are talking about these solutions, people think it is very far. Everyone thinks it is not my role until you are caught up in a flood, until your car is dragged away. So it is now our responsibility, every business, every individual. Scalability and business needs. Now, this one is very critical. Do not say, I went to Florence's business and she was using solar. I'm going to use solar. The question is, what are your business activities? Are we dealing in the same business? Do not just buy solar because you saw someone using solar. Do not just say, I'm going into briquettes because you saw someone using briquettes. It should be in line with your business needs. The needs will mean the activities that consume energy in your particular business. If you are making snacks, you can say yes. If you're grilling, for example, people who are grilling, I don't see why you should use charcoal. When you can put a honeycomb, it is not going to burn that you have to pour water. It is going to be on and you're going to grill the entire evening with one honeycomb of 2,000. So the people who grill on the roadside, that will be a good source of energy. But then if you're going to cook and whatever you're cooking needs heat, a lot of heat that is burning very fast, you cannot use a honeycomb or a briquette because a briquette is a slow, it cooks for a long time. Or maybe you're going to take the small ones that we take for 3 hours because usually they put little binder to make it burn fast. So you need to know your business needs, the activities you undertake to inform the nature of the energy technology you need. And can you use it on many, when we talk about scalability, can you use it on many business activities? The more you can use this particular technology is what we call productive use of the technology. Then you can earn from it. Let us say you're going to put a deep freezer, or you're going to put in your salon. Can you be able now to use it for other things other than just giving soft drinks to your employees so that you earn more money from it? You need to exploit these technologies to ensure that you earn extra from them. But if a technology cannot earn you more, then you might think about getting a better technology. Operational costs. This is another one we overlook. Some technologies need you to call the maintenance, the provider all the time. You need to be paying all the time. This is one disadvantage with grid electricity over solar. You spend maybe 2 million and install solar, and you do not have to be loading every day. But then when it comes to grid, you have to be buying power all the time. So it's like you own it, but you don't own it. And you don't have control over when it is available or not. The return on investment, how much do you earn from this? And after how long will you be able to cover the costs you incurred to install this technology? There was one entrepreneur who installed a certain technology. They were using volcanic rocks to cook. You've seen volcanic rocks where they tell you they work for 2 years and what. And then I found the entrepreneur complaining. Now, look at the technology. If you're getting into volcanic rocks and you're making like popcorn or your deep frying fish or your deep frying, you need a fast energy. You cannot be cooking for so long. That means you cannot say that you're going to use volcanic rocks in that manner. Government incentives are grants. Some technologies have government incentives, so you need to look at those. that have been incentivized. They will help you a lot. Then you compare with other similar businesses. You do a benchmark and see. Then now we go into the behaviors. We have talked about the sources. We have talked about the technologies. Now we say this is in your power, the behaviors. The first thing is you should learn how to use each of the solutions in an efficient manner. When you're using the honeycombs, for example, you're a restaurant, you have to wake up in the morning and you light your honeycomb to maximize the return from it and ensure that from morning it is used. Do not light the honeycomb at 4 p.m. to cook one meal, that is supper. It means you're going to lose out on the other hours. It is going to remain on and it is not used. If it is lights in your business, efficiency is where you say you know when to switch on and to switch off lights. Use efficient equipment in an efficient manner. When do you switch on the lights? Make sure that all your employees know that they have to switch off the lights. If you're going to dry someone's hair in your salon, sometimes you go to the salon and you find a percolator boiling, then it stops. After 3 hours or after 2 hours, they switch it on again and it boils water again. It means that you're boiling the same water over and over and you're using energy. If you're going to dry someone's hair, you should try and know how many minutes do I need. Sometimes you sit in a dryer, you already dry, the dryer is still on, the operator is on social media, and they think that it is your time that they are wasting, but you're wasting energy. Another thing is when you're buying electric equipment, be very sensitive about the wattage. How many watts? Any equipment that consumes above 1,000 watts today, it is too expensive for you. Wherever you switch it on, you're going to spend like 5,000. If you spend like 10 minutes using that particular equipment. So when you're buying the equipment, look at the wattage. Do not consider how cheap it is before you know that you're going to spend too much on it. On the efficient equipment use, I'm going to give you a real experiment we carried out. We used 3 different cookers, pressure cookers, to cook the same meal. These had different watts. The efficient one cooked for 300 shillings and the beans were ready. Another cooker now, cooking the same beans, used 3,000 shillings. The difference was in the wattage, the watts, how many watts. The one which used 3,000 shillings to cook beans, the acquisition cost was 150,000. And the one that used the 300 shillings, the acquisition cost was 250,000. So just for the difference of 100,000, you make a mistake and you buy an equipment that will consume 300% more on a daily basis in your business. So you have to be mindful as you're choosing these equipment. Make sure that these can save. Or use a technician, use someone who has knowledge to help you and select the right equipment. Manage load. Usually we advise those, maybe if you have to cooling or you have freezers, you have a supermarket, you should know there are those what we call peak hours. Those peak hours, you can use those peak hours to load. Sorry, you should use off-peak hours to load your high-consuming equipment, like deep freezers. You can ensure that every night at midnight, you switch on your deep freezer up to 6 a.m. Those off-peak hours, the consumption is lower, the charge is lower. And then it gets frozen throughout the day, and that one is known. Think about off-peak hours, those who are into manufacturing and you're using power. Energy audits, you need to assess the consumption patterns. Sometimes you have leakages. For example, if you have grid electricity, you can have leakages where your power is leaking or it is being stolen by someone. Now, you don't need to get an expert to audit your power.
Hello, Florence.
Yes.
Just warning that we need to summarize this. We are running out of time.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
This is
You
Edith.
don't need an expert. Yes, let me conclude. You don't need an expert. You need yourself to start monitoring and see, when I put in a dryer and I dry this head, how long does it take? Or when I boil this, or when I bake this cake, how long does it take? So that you know, you can easily tell that if I get 30 orders, this is how much I'm likely to use. Behavior change programs train your staff to improve their energy use behaviors. Said switching off lights, drawing curtains early so that you use the natural light. You can invest in automated energy management systems, those who can use meters. Yes, a meter will tell you how much you have used on a particular socket. You just put the meter on the socket so that you know how much you have used in case you have leakages in your business. You can utilize natural lighting and ventilation so that you do not spend a lot on lighting or putting lights the whole day. Like businesses today where we've come to adopt gypsum ceilings. Let me take you through opportunities just in a short while. Those of you who are looking into solar, where can I go to get information, or where can I get good solar? There is an association for solar, for Uganda Solar Energy Alliance. You can go through USEA. Those who want clean cooking or cooking solutions, you can go through UECCC or NREP, or you can go through UNAC, Uganda National Alliance for Clean Cooking. Water, those who want to get water filters, how do I know this is the right one? You can go to the Ministry of Water and Environment offices. They will tell you that those which are certified. You can go to CRIC. Makerere has a Center for Research and Energy Conservation. Any question about which technology, which circle stove, which one is accredited, they will tell you which ones have been subsidized. You'll get that information freely from CRIC. Therefore, I conclude by saying businesses need to adopt these cost-effective and sustainable energy solutions, especially the hybrids. And you need to utilize the available government incentives. I've given you a clue on where you can get information about these subsidized solutions. And entrepreneurs need to always conduct energy audits on your own to know how much you're using and how you can reduce on your energy consumption. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dr. Edith.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Florence Nakajubi, for a wonderful presentation that you've made to us. We appreciate you. Thank you for finding time in your business schedule to come and talk to us, to the different entrepreneurs, on this very important topic of matching energy solutions to your business needs. It's really key and very important, and sometimes we don't take it seriously. But from your presentation, I think all of us, many who have logged on, have learned a lot from your presentation on how best to use energy efficiently so as to reduce on the costs in our business operations. We appreciate because you've taken us through what energy is. Now we know what it is and its contribution. If you look at the cost of production, you've taken us through the different sources of energy, the different energy services, energy management ways, and energy efficiency. You've taken us through the different sources of energy, the technologies in energy, and how to consider the best alternative. You've given us some hints and highlights on how best we can pick the best alternative. You've taken us through understanding energy behavior. You know, energy behavior is very key, I think, on a daily basis. We need to think of how best we can improve on our behavior. You've taken us through the opportunities and sources of where we can pick this, which is best for us. We appreciate you and we thank you. We've come to this stage where we'll look at people who have some questions to interact with you. And allow me to invite Mr. Bone Kagava to handle the Q&A. Bone, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edith Vasalira, our host this morning. Doctor, am I loud and clear?
Yes, you are loud and clear, Bone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Florence Nakajubi, for taking us through matching energy solutions for our business needs. I just liked the mix in there, and your presentation actually was anchored on three things that, of course, governments are also trying to put forward. You talked a lot, but I was recording here the energy mix, where entrepreneurs have to choose the different sources of energy to use for their businesses and stuff like that. But apparently, you know very well that we are tackling issues of energy poverty, energy security, and of course, in a bid to make progresses into energy transition, where entrepreneurs and the private sector must be on the go to have this done. I have very, very limited time. I want to bring entrepreneurs on call. Can you raise up your hand to ask your question to Ms. Nakajubi? She's actually now an expert in the field, or you can type your comment or question in the Q&A. I will be able to read it to Madam Nakajubi. Since we have no time, can I see people with hands, electronic hands, and then you have the opportunity to ask. Any hand up? Any comments, any questions to Ms. Nakajubi? Okay, apparently I'm seeing Jessica is saying, thank you so much. It was a good presentation. And also Evelyn Evans Laniero, thanks for the great presentation. Madam Nakajubi, that is to you. Roy Nachove is saying, I think she needs a recording link after. Probably, yeah, we will share that, Roy. So apparently I'm not seeing anyone raising up the hand. But Madam Nakajubi, me, I have a question, particularly as we wait, maybe people to think through their questions. Apparently, one of my companies is implementing a training program for the Ministry of Finance, Tanzania, and we are talking about clean cooking policies, regulations, and sustainable energy. As an expert in this field, to what rate have we really achieved, or are we making progresses into clean cooking? Because what you've shared, actually, these are just milestones into clean cooking technology solutions for a country like Uganda. What are your comments about this? Is the country ready? Even the urban dwellers and the middle class aware of these clean cooking kind of solutions? Because you've really, really tackled, and I see schools, big agencies, small businesses like restaurants are still using charcoal. What are your comments as a scholar into this, and as someone who is coming from that field of, renewable energy, clean cooking, and stuff like that?
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for the question. Yes, as a country, we are ready for low carbon energy cooking. I will not say clean cooking, because when we say clean cooking, we are talking about zero emissions, which is not currently possible or sustainable for a country like Uganda, where we still have access to renewables absent in most areas, especially the rural areas. But we can do low carbon energy solutions, like I was mentioning in my presentations. Yes, you talked about which milestones. The challenge we have is with the regulation I gave you an example of a pressure cooker that comes and it is 2,000, 2,500 watts, and these do market distortions where someone says, oh, this one is 100,000. Why do I have to buy a similar pressure cooker at 300,000? I think that is the major challenge. People do not have information about why this could be different. And so these unregulated technologies are disrupting the market. And at the end, people who try them say these solutions are very expensive, not knowing that they used the wrong technology or they chose a wrong solution. So basically, if we get regulations where certain equipment cannot be sold on the market, I think it will help a lot. But as Ugandans, I'm sure we are ready to embrace if we deal with the market distortions and the substandard products, like I talked about, the solar, mix and match, etc. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Madam Nakajubi. There is I think this is from Q&A, and it's an anonymous attendee. He's saying we would love these sessions to extend to 9. 1 hour seems not enough. Could it be extended to 9 a.m.? I think that is for management to look through, but thanks for your thoughts. Any other person who may want to ask a question? You have like 2 minutes and we end the show. Anybody to ask Madam Florence, an entrepreneur probably running maybe a big company that or a big business that is using energy and he didn't know what to do. You have up to that 2 to 3 minutes to end this. But yeah.
Bonnie, there is a question in the chat.
Yes.
My question is how to help avail this information to the local community. Now that is what we are advocating for, because we found that the major gap is information. People do not know, and the information gap is what is causing purchase of poor quality solutions or unsustainable solutions. And if you have been very vigilant, National Renewable Energy Platform with the Ministry of Energy, GIZ, they are working on transition energy awareness sessions to make sure that the people get to know what they ought to use, how, and when. Yes, so there is a lot of effort we are undertaking in different communities to create awareness and educate the community about energy use. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's the same as, I don't know whether that was from Dr. Mabel Komunda. She was saying, how is government providing information to the public, especially the rural population? Hope that is it takes the same answers as well. Maybe you can actually speak for government, Madam Nakajubi. You can probably speak for government. How is government actually, through what means actually? Because you're talking about you making awareness. How are you making this awareness? And because I see even in Uganda, Kampala, sorry, the urban poor are still have not transited even to some improved clean cooking stoves. They think they are very expensive. There is a cost element in it. You talked about in your recommendations where you're telling government to put incentives for this. How are they going to do it? And my other question, Florence, by the way, is on the standardization. Is Uganda National Bureau of Standards coming handy to standardize these briquettes, standardize improve the cooking charcoal stoves, to standardize, Uganda is a liberalized market, flooded kind of items. We don't know which ones are certified and stuff like that. You gave us information where to go and find, but you realize entrepreneurs also on the streets, especially street entrepreneurs, take advantage of the ignorance. What is your thought about it?
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Yes, when it comes to communication, the government is trying, I've told you, through the NREP and the UNAC, they're trying to do awareness. Currently, I'm undertaking a study which is aimed at, it is an experimental study. We are coming up with a model for communicating. We want a resonant model that resonates with our local energy needs so that we are able to communicate to a Ugandan entrepreneur, a Ugandan household, a Ugandan consumer, but also when it comes to standardization, we are trying now to make people know about these solutions and where to go to get the right certified solutions. CRIC has a sample of all the certified solutions. Just a call away to this institution, they will tell you, ask them, I'm looking at this stove, is it certified by CRIC? On a phone call, they will tell you it is not certified. They have all, if you visit their office, they all have the certified solutions and the maintenance. Yes, there is still a gap when it comes to policy, and we have always had in meetings that UNBS, we have had in meetings that the ministry is working on policy to reduce on the, we call them the market distractors, those unstandardized products. We don't know how far that is has gone or how soon that will be out. But for now, those are the measures that we have put in place. And we are still trying day by day to ensure that we sensitize people through different platforms like this opportunity we have received from the MUBS Entrepreneurship and Incubation Centre. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We have to have this closed, Madam Nakajubi. Thank you so much. People are asking for your contact, which I know it's a public contact because you work for a public institution. I think you can type it in the chat. Others want to ask you probably maybe in private. But thanks so much for making it to this hour. Dr. Edith, thanks for the opportunity. And Madam Nakajubi, thank you for coming through. What I know and what I take away is that forest cover is actually fast going to extinct. Even in rural areas, people don't have access to charcoal anymore. They're buying it very expensive. So we need to invest in alternative, smart, clean cooking kind of technologies and stuff like that. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dr. Edith. Entrepreneurs, you need to think about how you match your energy solutions based on the presentation from Madam Nakajubi. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless MUBS. And God bless Uganda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bonne Kagaba, for managing the Q&A session very well. I would also like to appreciate Madam Florence Nakajubi for the further interacting session that you've been able to handle with our participants. Thank you for responding to their questions and comments and further providing information. As we've gone beyond the top of the hour, although some people are saying they are requesting that we extend this, management is going to look into that and we see how best to manage and balance the different opinions from different people who are our participants. We appreciate you, Madam Nakajubi, for the knowledge you've shared with us. This is very important and very key for entrepreneurs because a lot of resources are wasted in energy issues. So thank you for creating awareness. I think from the questions that have come up and the comments from the chat, we realize that a lot of awareness, more awareness needs to be created in the communities, and there's a lot of work to be done. So we appreciate you, Florence, as an expert in this area of energy, for being able to have passion in this and sharing it with many of us. I know soon we'll be again talking to you as an expert in this area to come and say more about how people can use energy efficiently, because we can't do away with energy, but it has to come on board wherever we are working, wherever we are operating. So energy is something we must work with, and we need more awareness to be created. So I appreciate you, Florence. We'll be calling you again to say more because the audience sounds they need more information in this area. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And we appreciate the government initiatives that are coming on board. You need to expose this more to us. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to appreciate you. Thank you very much for logging on this morning. Thank you for always logging on early morning on Thursdays and starting your Thursdays with us. We'll be sharing the recording, and we appreciate you all. Remember to log on again next Thursday, same time. We look forward to having you again next Thursday. I would like to wish you a blessed Thursday and further appreciate you for logging on always. Madam Florence Nakajubi, thank you very much for sharing with us. Whatever you've shared, very, very important. We appreciate you all. Have a blessed Thursday. And bye-bye for now.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move. 'Cause the world will never see you until you do. No, they don't really care what you're going through. So you gotta show them, baby. You gotta show them the real you. You gotta give them what you've got. No, don't let them see what you're not. 'Cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby. 'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. What do you do when you can't let go? What do you say when you just don't know how you feel? And you know nobody knows how you feel. 'Cause everybody's got their own damn problem. So everybody's trying to find their way. And day by day is a struggle. In this world, you know you have to hustle. Just know that you're not alone. You don't always have to be strong all by yourself. I said it's okay to ask for help. Now listen, people will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. People will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. You are a work of art. Bet you didn't think you'd come this far. Now here you are. Baby, you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby. 'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. You know you're